All right, hey everybody, back here again. It's Matt from, Matt Delrat from ECF and Vaping Underground. We have a juice review for you tonight. It's a company called Local773. It's a Chicago-made e-liquid. I had contacted Nick Gerner, the owner, and asked him for his permission to do a juice review. And asked him for a little bit on his company's information. So what he sent me was, he said he started the company about a year ago because he was a heavy smoker, 2 packs a day. He's been a paramedic for 8 years. He felt like he had a bigger impact just informing people about vaping. He created these flavors for himself and didn't intend to sell them at first, but all his friends assured him that they were very good. He uses flavorings that do not contain diacetyl, however we want to pronounce that. It does not say on his website anywhere that does not contain diacetyl or diacetyl. So any of the custard vapes, cream vapes, some people might get a little leery of. But he uses flavorings that say no diacetyl added. So hopefully they're safe. He hasn't sent them out for testing, but we'll say that he's using reputable companies that would tell him if there was anything like that added. He does use top quality PG VG, and he does try to steep them for at least a week or two, but they get better with age. Some of these I tested right out of the box, and I wasn't 100% thrilled with them. After a little bit of time sitting in the closet, steeping, I used the warm water trick on a couple of them to see if the flavor changed. And if any of the flavors did change, they changed for the better. So if at first you don't like something, this holds true to any juice a company you have or you use. If it doesn't taste good at first, give it some time. Time can age anything to a better flavor. So I guess we're going to just get down to it and get started. So let's get to tasting. Alright, we're back here, guys, and we're working, guys and gals, we're working with the first flavor, which is Pilsen. Nick has it described on the website as a complex blend of cinnamon and brown sugar. What I have here tonight is a 0.8 ohm build on my Plume Veil. It's a 26 gauge 2-wire parallel coil build. Reason I go with the higher gauge parallel coil build was because it seems to last. It seems to distribute the heat a little bit more, so I don't get any burnt flavor right away. Helps prolong my coil for the review, at least. Before I start this, it's rocking at 4.3 volts on 0.9. Okay, I didn't have it screwed on all the way. It's 4.1 volts, 0.8 ohms, 20 watts. What I'm going to do is I have it loaded up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few drags. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to get back to you guys with how I feel about it. So let's watch me vape. Well, it is a blend of cinnamon and brown sugar. So, one thing I've noticed, and we're going to talk about it here, it's an actual natural cinnamon. I get both the cinnamon and brown sugar, so this one's going to get a green light. Although one thing I did notice about it was the flavor kind of diminishes in your mouth, and I believe that's more or less the type of flavor it is. Cinnamon has a tendency to lose flavor pretty quick, so does, I guess, sugary things might as well. But it doesn't really taste like brown sugar, so it actually tastes like the inside of a cinnamon bun. like a cinnamon bun without the bun, kind of. I'm going to push this up to 30 watts. I'll show everybody here. Okay, so what we're at is we're at 30 watts. It's 5.1 volts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to juice her up again just to make sure I have enough. And we'll see if this makes a dramatic difference. I tested this on quite a few different, all these juices on quite a few different builds to kind of get a feeling, and some pre-built heads. That's a little too powerful. Almost towards the end, it starts to dry out. It's not bad. It's good. If you have a build that can handle that and wick the juice fast enough, I'm sure that would not be a problem. I get a little bit of a burnt taste out of that's the build, I'm sure. It's not a very thick juice. I don't believe it tells me anywhere what the PG-VG ratio is, and that is something I forgot to ask Nick. But it's a really good flavor. I'm going to give this one a green light. It's a really good flavor. It does lose its flavor, so you might have to have two addies, which most people do. I guess some people do, some people don't. I prefer to have one device I'm working on, and then I have a backup with me at all times. So maybe this would be one of the ones that sits with a backup, so that I jump over back and forth, that I have two flavors that are kind of that way. Other than that, it is a really good flavor. It's kind of like taking a cinnamon challenge at first, and then after a while you get used to it, and then if you go away from it for a little bit and come back, you're going to have the same problem, but it's not too bad. So this one gets a green light from me, and we'll get moving on to our next one. Alright, we're back here, and what we're going to try now is Uptown by Local773. It is a sweet and creamy raspberry cheesecake. Actually, it says all juices are 70/30 PG-VG. So this one tells me that all juices are 70/30. So 70/30 is about where I like to vape. 70/30 up. So and again, 70 is the VG, 30 is the PG. So there's no miscommunication there. Again, I'm rocking this on my Plume Veil at 0.8 ohms, 4.1 volts, and let's give the Raspberry Cheesecake Uptown Girl a shot. What I'm going to do here is fill my coil again with some more juice. Okay, and I'm going to vape on it a little bit, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. I'm getting a raspberry. I'm definitely getting a raspberry. I cleansed my palate with a drink in between this. Completely pulled out the old wick, dry fired it till it was glowing, put it under water, cleaned off the coils and cleaned off the atomizer, cleaned out the top cap. And so this is a clean flavor. And I'm going to bump this up to 30 watts. See where we're at. Okay. Okay. This one is better than when I got it. So a little bit of steep time on it's a very good thing. If you're going to buy it, don't plan on vaping it right away. Although most of us would want to. I'm going to have to say, I taste the raspberry. I really do. I get a creamy raspberry. So that's part of it. but I'm not getting a cheesecake kind of flavor. Like, I'm not getting the crust. I'm not getting any thick dairy kind of filling or anything like that. I'm not getting a real taste of cream cheese. If you would have said this is a sweet, creamy raspberry, probably would say that's exactly what it is. Let's hit it again. Yeah, I'm just getting a sweet, creamy raspberry. I'm not really getting a... It's not very round. It's a little bit of a sharp raspberry, which isn't bad. I like it. Raspberries are meant to be sharp. I'm going to give this one a yellow light for the reason of it. I don't taste a cheesecake. It does taste like raspberry, and it is really good, but I'm losing the cheesecake. I don't find it. I can't find it. So this one gets a yellow light. If you're into a raspberry vape, a cream raspberry vape, this one isn't too bad. Again, like I said, there is a sharpness to the raspberry, so if sharp fruit flavors aren't your thing, then this might not be for you, but it's a good creamy raspberry. So this one gets a yellow light from Matt the Rat. Alright everybody, I'm back here with Logan Square by 773. It's a creamy crunch berry vape that tastes like Sunday morning. The only thing missing are the cartoons. So I'm assuming this one's supposed to be like a breakfast cereal. So let's give this a shot. Make sure my cotton's full. Alright. Sorry for the annoying cough. It's the change of weather season here in Pennsylvania, and the weather went from hot to cold. So I've got a little bit of a tickle in my throat. No big deal. I can still smell fine, taste fine. I just have that annoying cough. Alright, so here we go. It's Logan Square. There we go. What in the world? There we go. That was really bright. 20 watts, 4.1 volts, 0.8 ohms. Yeah, I get it. So the vape invades the computer again. All right. This is a creamy crunch berry. It tastes just like the breakfast cereal. I'm going to give this one a yellow light only because I don't personally like the breakfast cereal. And I'll tell you why. There's this little funky flavor going on with the I guess whatever they use to make the cereal itself. And it's something I always didn't like about that. So I can't fault the juice personally for it. The only reason I give it a yellow light is, again, taste is subjective. So it is exactly what he says it is. I can even taste the milk. And I can even get that annoying taste that I never did like as a kid. But I do know there's a lot of people out there who like this kind of thing. So this is going to be right up your alley. So, again, no fault to the juice. No fault to the juice. That's why I have a 3-tier kind of, no like and dislike. I have the 3-tier green light for specifically things like this, where personally I don't like it, but it is what they say it is. So if I were basing this off of what they're saying it is and how well it was created, it gets a green light. If I would say whether I like it or not, I would say I don't like it, because personally I don't like this kind of flavor. But as a reviewer, I will give every flavor a shot and base it on its flavor as subjectively and objectively as I can. So objectively, it's a great flavor. Subjectively, I personally don't like it because of that little tinge that I get from it, but that's a personal opinion. So take it for what it's worth. Take my opinion for what it's worth. Logan Square, it's a yellow light. Alright, we're back here now. 3 down, 3 to go. What we've hit now is Ukrainian Village. This one sounds kind of nice because the place I live in, Pennsylvania, is very diverse, and Ukrainians are part of the diversity, especially in the town I live in. So I'm assuming this is like a village within, and a lot of these seem to be named after places within Chicago area. This one kind of feels like home to me a little bit. It also says, for its description, it's nostalgia wrapped into a bottle of e-juice. A sugar cookie vape that tastes like it's fresh from the oven, just like your grandma used to make. Okay. So it is a sugar cookie. There's a lot of sugar cookies, vapes out there, so this one's by far not going to be, I guess, too original. But everyone does have its own blend and taste, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the cotton is wet again, just to be on the safe side. And we are going to vape this, and I will give you my opinion. I knocked the plume veil back down to 20 watts in between cleanings to make sure I'm where I need to be. It's still 0.8 ohms, 4.1 volts. Sorry, that tickle, man. I'm telling you, it's getting me every time. Getting a good sugar cookie. It feels slightly muted. We're going to turn it up to 30 watts. 30 watts. Let's see where we go. Oh yeah, it's a sugar cookie. It's definitely a sugar cookie. Alright. With this Pennsylvania tickle in my throat here, any little bit of throat hit causes me to get a tickle and a throat hit. I usually have a juice that I use for this time of year when I'm having this problem. It's a mentholated juice, but for right now we've got these juices from Local773, so it is a very good sugar cookie. It's pretty much like your standard. So it's got a little something I can't quite be sure of, but it really is a sugar cookie with like a hint of something else in the background, so maybe that's the way he put something in there to kind of make it taste like it's right from the oven kind of thing. It does stick with you. It's not like other sugar cookies that really just get in there, get out, and be done with it. Does stick with you. It's a really good sugar cookie, so I'm going to give this one a green light. It is what they say it is, and I can see this being an all-day vape. I have 10 mils of it, so it's probably going to make its way into a tank to get it used up, so I don't have to keep dripping. So yeah, that's Ukrainian Village. It's a warm sugar cookie kind of vape. It really is a good sugar cookie. It does last. It's well-rounded. This is, I'm going to say, a really good, well-thought-out juice. So, yeah, it's a green light for Ukrainian Village. All right, we're back here, folks, with the fifth juice from 773. It is Portage Park. It's a sweet, rich, creamy custard. Definitely not your run-of-the-mill custard vapes. This and the next one are the reasons I decided to message Nick and ask him about the diacetyl or diacetyl. It's because there's a lot of custard vapes, especially in here, and he says he doesn't add any diacetyl, or that he uses flavors that don't have any diacetyl or diacetyl added. He hasn't gotten them checked by a lab, but most of the prominent flavor companies will provide you with that information on their website. So hopefully he's using some very good e-liquid companies, especially things like Flavor Art or the Flavor Apprentice, so that they will either tell him or they don't contain diacetyl. So what we're going to do here is, again, I have it loaded up on my plume veil, and I'm going to make sure that the cotton's nice and wet. We don't want any catastrophes. Any cotton blowing up or burning up in my face. That would be bad, and it's happened before. So here we go. And I'm going to vape it, then we'll talk about it. That tickle. I'm going to bump it up to 30 watts. See how she does, since a lot of them I did bump up. This one's got a really strong throat hit. Alright. It is a rich and creamy custard. He's saying it's definitely not a run-of-the-mill kind of custard vape. I can say it's similar to things I've tried. It is a really good vape. It's a lot sweeter than normal custards I'm used to. I get a bit of a creamy aspect, so maybe that's something like maybe like a vanilla cream or something like that added in there. But I don't taste vanilla, so there's a cream of some sort in there. I can't quite put my finger on it, but let's try it again. It's almost like the Crunch Berries creamy kind of thing. Okay. I would say that it is a very sweet, rich, creamy custard vape. So that being said, I'm going to give this one a yellow light because it is a sweet, rich, creamy custard vape, but there's a hint of something I don't like in it. It could be something like the Crunch Berries. It is almost like the Crunch Berries. I almost taste the Crunch Berries without the berries. So maybe that's what I'm tasting, and that's bothering me. And again, that's a personal, subjective thing. So objectively, it is what they say it is, and it is a good mix of those flavors. But personally, it's a little bit too close to the Crunch Berries with that little aftertaste, that weird. I can't describe it, but there's a little funk to it. To the Crunch Berries, to every Crunch Berries I've ever tried, so it's nothing to fault that. So, and I'm getting a little bit out of this Portage Park. Yeah. So I'm giving this one a yellow light. It is what they say it is. It is a good mix of the cream and custard. It is a very sweet vape. So this might actually move along with me and hit a dripper so that I can switch out flavors regularly. So I might actually vape it all. But it wouldn't be something I'd go out and buy a large amount of, because I probably wouldn't vape it until it goes bad. So, or by the time it goes bad. So. Yellow light for Portage Park. And up next is our last and final one. Alright, we're back here for the last and final e-liquid. It is Hyde Park. The description is our best seller, a caramel custard fit for the president himself. This one is actually another one of his custards. It's a 70-30 again, like they say. I'm going to try this at 20 watts. Like all the others, I apologize. I just had a drink and now I have to burp. So again, yes, I clean out the atomizer, the RDA every time in between. Pull the cotton, burn off the coil, rinse it underwater. Dry fire it a couple times and rinse it underwater to make sure I burn everything off and rinse it out so there is no bleed through whatsoever. Clear my throat. So what we have here is a caramel custard fit for the president himself. So let's see if, I don't know if the president's a vapor, but I know I sure am. So let's give it a shot at 20 watts. It's 4 volts on a 0.8 ohm build. Again, the caramel and custard. They felt a bit muted. This one I got a large bottle in. I believe Nick upgraded me on this bottle. I had originally ordered 10 mils, I believe is the size. He sent me a 30 ml bottle, I guess because it is one of his biggest sellers. And I'm about 2/3 of the way through, so I'm glad he did. There we go. Let me put more juice on this. I apologize about that cough, that tickle in my throat, man. Hope the weather warms up so I get rid of it. Yeah. This will be fun on the playback to see my face right there. All right, so here we go. Caramel custard. I don't believe I've ever had a caramel custard flavor. So I'm assuming this might be something that they have as almost maybe a regional thing in Chicago is a caramel custard. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I've seen it too many times in the local brick and mortars here. Juices I buy online, I rarely see something like this, but maybe it's in with a mix of other things. But I'll be honest with you, it's a good flavor. It is caramel and it is custard. It almost comes across like a maple syrupy, but it's not as strong as a maple syrup. You don't really smell the maple. You kind of get a taste of it. But that's the caramel and the custard coming together, I think. I think they make an awesome blend. I can see why this is one of their most popular. See, that tickle doesn't bother me when I'm vaping here. Especially this one. This one's a creamy kind of vape. It's a real soothing kind of vape. I get the tickle and my throat's dry. Right there. I'm going to have to give this one a green light. I'll be honest though at first. If you get this, I would recommend getting a larger bottle, like a 30 ml bottle. Because here's the 30 ml bottle. Gotta get it on cam. I'll try to get it so that you guys can see how much is out of it. It's about a third of the way gone. And honestly, at first I did not like it. First couple of puffs, I'm like, nah, it just didn't feel right. But after I got it into my head that it's a caramel custard, that this is the way it's supposed to be, it actually started tasting better. I was also vaping it at 20 watts. I try to keep my voltage down to about around what a mechanical mod would hit, so that I can see what every vapor would hit it at. All of the juices I did try at different resistances on different devices at different wattages and stuff. But this one, I have to say, did grow on me, and once it did, that was it. I did really enjoy it. So this one gets a green light from me. Up next, we're going to have our little closing comments and a little bit more about the company and my review of the company itself. So stay tuned for just one more second. All right, folks, we're coming to the wrapping up point. What we're going to do here now is we're going to talk about the company a little bit, their prices, and my general overall feelings of the company. My goal here with my series so far is to bring you guys juices that are made by vapors for vapors at a price that the average vapor can afford. I'm not going to say that the people are poor and that we can't spend money on higher end juices, but for an all-day vape, I go through about 15 mils in about 2 days. So for me to continue to buy juices, for me to buy juices was ridiculous. I went over to DIY, but as I got people into vaping, I realized that DIY isn't for everybody. So, and I get tired of DIYing for people, and not that they're ungrateful or anything, but it's a long, drawn-out process for some of us. Some of us DIY just to get it done, and some of us do it because they enjoy it. Now, I personally enjoy making the flavors, but they're not good when I send them out to people sometimes. So it's hard for me to give something to somebody and have them not like it, and it's unfortunate. But, pardon me. What I have here is a really good juice company. It looks like it's a guy who works hard, saves lives for a living. Being a volunteer firefighter, I do know what it's like for emergency personnel. They're sometimes overworked and underappreciated. But I think what he's doing here is even better. His website was a little hard to find, so I will have a link in the description. So maybe down the road things will get better, and his website he'll get an actual .com or something like that to make it easier to find, or better keywords. It's easier to find. But I did find it, and it wasn't too difficult. What he has is he has 10, 30, and 120 milliliter bottles. The 10 milliliter bottle is $5. The 30 milliliter bottle is $13, and Hyde Park, and the 120 ml bottle is $40. Unfortunately, Hyde Park's the one I have across my screen right now, so I read that off instead. But for $40 for 120 mils, I'm not saying that all of these could be bought at 120 mils, but even for $5 for 10 mils, buy 3 or 6, you're spending $15 to $30, and you're getting 15 to 60, 30 to 60 mils of e-liquid. So that's not bad for that price. Even if you're buying them all, buying 10 mil bottles, you buy 5 of them for $15. That's a pretty good price for 30 mils. So what I could say is give Local773 a shot. He was pretty courteous. He did upgrade and throw in a few samples so that I could try some more of his liquids than what I bought. I like to start off easy with what a typical vapor would buy. You'd go to a website, you'd pick three of what looks good, you try them to see the company itself. The bottling is good. They use the plastic bottles that are easy squeeze. I noticed a few differences in some of the labels. Some of them are different between, even on the 10 ml bottles, so you could tell these are handmade labels. The warnings, there's sideways warnings on here that say may contain nicotine, keep out of reach of children and pets. That's really good. There was one though I found. Yes, this is the perfect label. It has in red warning, and then tells you to shake well before use, but it has in red the warning. And I like to see that it's some sort of an alert to people to say, hey, read me first. Although most people don't read anyway, and when you get the terms of it, I agree to terms, you just scroll to the bottom, you don't read them. So All I can say is give Local 773 a shot. Give him a little patronage, especially with his Hyde Park. I would say that's definitely one to go for. If it is his most popular, it might just become a little bit more popular. But there are some good ones, and take my advice for what it is. My personal tastes vary from person to person. So when I give something a yellow light because of a personal taste, it doesn't mean that it's a bad flavor. It just means that I personally don't like it. If I give something a red light, that means absolutely not, don't try it. Absolutely not. It's not what it says it is. It's a disgusting juice. I'm sure there are some out there that are absolutely downright, ugh, but I haven't come across one that is that. But I come across vapes that I don't like. So I'm giving you my opinion. So please read or listen to the entire review before you make your judgment based on my decision. That's why I tried to save the lights and my honest opinion till the end of each review so that people had to listen to it. I want you guys to make an informed decision about good e-liquid companies, and so far I found 2 great e-liquid companies. So here's a thumbs up, a boast of confidence for you, Nick, there at Local 773. All right, everybody. Have a great vape, and we'll see you all soon.